Hello Patriots, welcome to the channel. On today's video we're going to be talking about police, pancakes, and payoffs. But before we get into that, I want to give you a little update on the virus situation here in Kentucky. On this Monday, Governor Beshear reported that we had a grand total of 0 virus deaths in the entire state of Kentucky. And it makes you wonder, why then do we have anything that is still under Governor Beshear's restrictions? Why are some things still locked down? Why are some things limited? Here a week ago Sunday, we only had one person in the entire state that passed away with the virus. The week before, on that same day, there was only one person. The Monday of that week, there was only one person. And then this week, we have a day where there are 0 people. So why is this continuing to be locked down and restricted? I think we can find out an answer to that when we read a tweet that was done by AOC. Notice what she says here, and I think this gives you a big clue as to why Governor Beshear still has things locked down. Notice what she says. Quote, "It is vital that governors maintain restrictions on businesses until after the November elections, because economic recovery will help Trump be reelected. A few business closures or job losses is a small price to pay to be free from his presidency. Hashtag keep us closed." And we see that is exactly what Governor Beshear is doing. We have now 0 reported deaths, and yet he still refuses to reopen all of the different Kentucky businesses. You can't go to the library and read a book. You can't sit down at McDonald's and eat a hamburger. If you got loved ones in the nursing home, you're still not allowed to go visit them. And so there's no justification through this in logic, but we see what's going on here. It's an organized attempt to ruin the economy simply to try to influence the election. Will Lord help us to that all be turned around backwards and actually help President Trump on his re-election campaign. Well, let's talk about now the police, pancakes, and payoffs. Let's start off with payoffs. Here the last week or two, we had a big hullabaloo in Kentucky about removing the Jefferson Davis statue from the Kentucky Capitol. Well, they decided to go ahead and remove it, and the very day that the vote was taken to remove it, Governor Beshear had this thing started to be removed that day. Within hours, he gave a contract for more than $225,000 to some of his campaign contributors. Now, wait a second here. Do you think this maybe could have been done for less than $250,000? And that's just to remove it. That does not include doing the transporting, and that does not include installing it wherever it's going to wind up at. He gave his campaign contributors a more than $250,000 contract in less than one day. Could this have been done cheaper to Kentucky taxpayers? And why isn't this being investigated? This is incredibly suspicious, highly illegal. And we thought we'd just point that out to you. Payoffs to his campaign contributors. We also have to wonder, why did he have that $7 million field hospital built over there for virus patients, the Nutter Field Hospital, that never even saw one patient? But he gave a contract and millions of dollars to the former Democratic Secretary of State's family, Allison Lundergan Grimes, who had helped him to get elected. Pointing these things out because the mainstream media in Kentucky is not doing that. So that's a little bit about payoffs. Now let's talk about pancakes. And you're like, why are you going to talk about pancakes? Well, because of all the things going on here the last 2 weeks or so, we now have the Aunt Jemima, the pancake syrup people, want to take her picture off and I guess relabel and remarket the whole thing because they say it's racist. Let's look at this actually right here. Here's a picture of Aunt Jemima on the pancake syrup bottle. Now, does this look racist whatsoever? Are there any exaggerated features? Does this, in fact, just look like an average middle-aged black woman that you would see today? Yes, completely. There's nothing racist about this whatsoever. And we see that the group really pushing a lot of this stuff, it isn't even coming mostly from the black community. It's mostly coming from a bunch of white people that are wanting to do this. They also want to have them change Uncle Ben's rice. Let's look at a picture of the Uncle Ben's rice package. You see here an older black guy who is dressed very sharply. Is this a disrespectful looking picture? No, this is a respectful looking, dignified, older black guy that's been known for making great rice for all this time. And yet we got a bunch of mostly white people wanting to take his picture off. Let's look at the cream of wheat box. I love me some cream of wheat. And notice this. Is this a disrespectful picture? It's got a black chef wearing a chef's toga. It got a little bow tie on there. A black guy dressed sharply in a respectful looking picture. Nothing disrespectful about it. And yet they're wanting to take that off because it's racist. I have to ask the question, why is just having a normal looking black person on a package of whatever you're selling, why is that racist? We see it as the liberal Democrats, mostly a group of white people that are trying to do this. And we see the Democrats, again, are doing things which are really actually racist, claiming their actions are anti-racist, or in fact removing the good, respectable pictures of black people from all kinds of different products. And I've noticed when I look at a lot of these different protests going around the state and the whole country for the, supposedly for racism issues, I'm seeing there's a great number of these rioters that aren't black people. They're actually a bunch of skinny, scrawny, liberal white people that are doing that. I know my family went to go vote today, and they got cursed out by a white guy for having white privilege. And it was a white guy that was yelling at them. We see this is not nearly as much about race as it is about a leftist liberal agenda. And it's time that we push back on this. There's a wonderful YouTube video done by this black conservative by the name of Anthony Brian Logan. I'm linking his video in the description. I hope you go watch that thing. This guy is great. You have here a black conservative guy that is just talking about this very issue, saying, hey, why are you taking black people off of everything? The pictures aren't racist whatsoever. It's really great, and I hope to hear from more black conservative voices. There's been a whole lot of those I've noticed that are started popping up all over the country. The mainstream media wants you to think that there are no black conservatives. Well, I'm here to tell you that there are, and there seems to be a growing number of them, and praise the Lord for that. So that's a little bit about payoffs, a little bit about pancakes. Now let's talk about police. Governor Beshear has told the police in Louisville basically to almost stand down, do nothing about the riots or looting. He's like, well, what riots? What looting? There's nothing going on. We're seeing all this damage, people literally burning the city down. So I think we need to have a time here in the Bluegrass where we support the police. So I want to host an event in late July called the Bluegrass Back the Blue Family Festival. And this is what we're going to need to make this event happen. First of all, we're going to have a good venue, a location. What I would like is a location somewhere in central Kentucky, because that'll be closest for every single Kentuckian to be able to get to it. So if you out there, if you have some land, or if you know somebody who does, like maybe you can get access to some fairgrounds or a place where we can put hundreds of cars, because I expect to have hundreds and really, literally thousands of people at this thing. We're going to need something where we can have electricity so that we can plug in a sound system. And we'd like to have some restroom facilities. And if not, we can get some porta potties. I'm sure we can get those. They cost about $400 or $500 to get one, and we can have people sponsor those. We can get that. We're going to have that out there. We'll have a stage set up with the electricity, the sound system, to have some great Kentucky bluegrass. We'll have some gospel music, some jazz musicians. We'll get a bunch of food trucks to go out there because they can't go anywhere else now. And then I want to set up a bunch of attractions. People who can do face painting or have a ring toss or a bouncy house or pony rides, horses. We got all these people in Kentucky got horses. Get a bicycle helmet, let the kids take some pony rides. And now we'll have music, we'll have food, we'll have entertainment. It's going to be a great family event. And any and all profits that come in because of that night, we are going to give all of the profits away that very night. Every police officer who shows up, we'll put their name in a hat, and then at the end of the night, we'll start drawing names out of a hat, and we'll divide the money equally between each person that we draw out of the hat that's a police officer. And that'll be a way to let them know, hey, we appreciate you. 100% of the profits going that night to the people who are protecting us, who are going to help restore law and order. Realize we have more than 7,000 police officers in Kentucky who right now are not getting the respect and support that they not only need but deserve from a lot in leadership right now. So we, the people of the Bluegrass, invite you to come out, and we're going to need your help to put this event together. So if you have a good venue, or if you want to say, I'd like to be maybe one of the people with an attraction or one of their performers, then just contact me. You can contact me at the email godandcountryministry@hotmail.com. That is godandcountryministry@hotmail.com. Whether you've got some land or you want to do an attraction or you've got some of the music, whatever, you say, oh, I just want to help sponsor something as simple as help to get the porta potty so we can have a nice, great event. So we'll be looking forward to doing this and give you more information on the next video. And until next time, this is Lee Watts for Patriot Point. Stand strong, Kentucky.